yesterday I decided that I'd like to enter Orange Beak's Once Upon a Winter competition, which runs on Instagram, and they released 6 prompts to base an illustration around. And then during December there's set days where you post those to Instagram. So last night I started just making some ideas in my notebook about looking at the 6 words, which are the magician, feather, glimmer, pine, ember and flight, and thinking about a story that can tie all of those together, and then sort of looking at each word, writing down what it means or associated meanings, to try and come up with a story. So my idea for the story is that we have a magician who's out for a walk at night, and he comes across a feather, or like a really beautiful feather, and then he thinks, okay, well, if there's a feather, that must come from a bird, so he's searching for the bird, and he finds it tangled up in a tree, and its wing is broken or it's injured in some way, so he takes it back home to look after it, and then when the bird is healed, then it flies off. And because some of the words in this are like glimmer and ember, I was thinking of fire, so I thought maybe a phoenix would be interesting, or a firebird. So then I was looking up, are they 2 different creatures? And they are. And so then I was looking up sort of firebird mythology, and there's some Slavic kind of folk tales or fairy tales that involve firebirds, and it seems like the classic story is that someone goes on a quest to find them because they're really beautiful, but when you capture them they bring like a curse to you, and actually this story is like the opposite way round. It's the magician is helping out the firebird and helping it get better and setting it free, and maybe there'll be some kind of blessing on the magician that the firebird gives. So it's always fun to flip a story kind of upside down in that way. Yeah, so I'm probably going to have a look at some sort of classic imagery from those folk tales, maybe to inspire me. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking at the moment. My plan for this is I'd like to illustrate it all by hand, and I'd like to basically make a little book with these little paintings inside. So I don't think it'll be very big because I'll have to cut that from A4, but I think it would be really nice to have something physical to look at. I'm hoping that will help sort of broaden my creativity and yeah, help with future projects as well. And it'd be nice to have something that I can just sit and paint by hand, because I spend so much time looking at a screen. I think it'd be nice to have that to work on alongside other bits and bobs. Also, if you want to check out my Instagram, it's just Sarah Final Illustration, and you can go and see all the posts from the challenge, and have a look at the hashtag, which I think is Once Upon a Winter 2024, and you can look at other people's illustrations for the challenge as well, which I'm sure there'll be some amazing ones in there, so go and have a look. my camera battery died, so I didn't manage to record much of me painting these spreads, but I decided to work on the first 4 images all in one go. It's quite helpful because you need to wait for the paint to dry to kind of do sort of multiple bits all at once. So like painting on the trees, painting on the sky, on all the images, and then by the time I've done all of those, it's dry, and then I can go back with something else. So we've got the first spread, the second one, and these ones I realised I could fit 2 on one piece of paper, so these are all in one. So yeah, at the moment I've just got this sort of base of colour down. Some areas I need second or additional coats, so the purple jacket here, the cloak and the hat needs another coat here, whereas everywhere else is done. This bit of sky needs an extra layer. The rest of the sky I think is kind of how I want it. Yeah, and then I'm going to, I haven't painted any of his clothes yet, so that's the next thing, and then I will go in and think about details. And then the last 2 spreads are not in the woodland scene, so those ones I'm happy to paint at another point. So yeah, that's where I am so far. So I've just finished painting the first 4 spreads. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And the gold ink that I had dried up, but I found this, I don't know if you'll be able to see the metallic Posca pen, a gold one. So I've added some little gold details on both the Magician and on the Firebird. And yeah, I'm definitely embracing imperfections with this. When you're used to working a bit more digitally, it definitely is hard when you have things which aren't, which are a bit more rough. But now that I've actually cut them out, I think I like the look of them a lot better. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it all come together. So now I'm going to move on to doing the details in pencil and the outlines. So I'm going to grab pencils and things I need for that. This is the pen that I use for the outlines. It's a Pentel pen and it's like a brush pen. It's also refillable, and you can do like reasonably fine lines on there, and I quite like the inconsistency of the line compared to just like a fine liner. I tried sort of fountain pens and other kinds of ink pens, but I kind of don't like the scratchiness, so this is what I've been enjoying using, but it's perhaps a little bit thick and dark for this kind of size image. So I'm also have been into using pencil as for my outlines recently, but I started using this pen in the project, so I kind of need to be consistent throughout. I also discovered that this pen is not waterproof, so definitely on some of the other images there's like, when I tried to go back in and paint a bit more, we got some smudging. So if I'm going to use it where I've done like a whole painting in one go rather than scanning different layers in, I definitely need to make sure that this is the very last stage, to avoid any smudging. But yeah, as you can see, like definitely wobbly lines, but we kind of have decided to embrace that for this. For things like eyes or the finer details, I prefer just a standard fine liner because it's difficult to do like a nice circle shape with the brush pen. I also need my gold. Yep, here we go. to get some new brushes with yeah, the tips of these are so, all my paintbrushes are so wonky and not pointy anymore, which makes doing little details like these really difficult. My teeny tiny brush, it's all frayed. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, so that's something I need to buy, is some better brushes, and then I probably need to take better care of them. I'm sure it's not just bad brushes, I'm sure there's some user error in there as well. So whilst I do this, maybe I'll chat about what I've learned through this project, what I have enjoyed, what I think I can improve on, that kind of thing. So yeah, it has been nice hand painting it, and to be honest, in some ways I think it's gone, like, I did a nicer job than I thought, but I'm not sure that watercolour is for me for this kind of thing. By the end of it, I think lots of the pages have got quite muddy and messy to get like the depth of colour for the night scenes and all that kind of thing. I'm just not sure that watercolour was the best. So I would like to try, I've got like standard gouache and I have some acrylic gouache as well, just primary colours, so I'd quite like to give those a go and kind of do some sort of comparison maybe. Yeah, so materials is something I think I need to play around more with, and then also compositionally, like I think this image and the one that I've just ordered here are just too similar. and maybe either a zoomed out one when he's walking through the forest initially, maybe something that sort of is closer to this where you can see like the whole scene, not with his house, maybe his house really tiny. Yeah, some kind of zoomed out forest scene might work better as the beginning, or here where you could, it's like really he's like a glimmer right in the background perhaps. Yeah, so I'm kind of, in some ways I'm happy with this project, in some ways when I kind of put the pictures up on Instagram I felt a bit like they didn't look that great, and that's partly because the photos weren't that great either, because I've just done it on my iPhone camera and it's an old iPhone so it doesn't actually have a very good camera, and it gets dark at 4 o'clock, so I'm basically taking all the pictures in artificial light. So yeah, the pictures maybe aren't doing it justice either. Yeah, so some I like it, like when you can see it all in real life. I don't think it really shines online. But I'm kind of, there are aspects of this that I do like. I do like the story. I think the Firebird's sweet. I think the Magician's sweet. I actually think I should have done the Firebird less orange, maybe more yellow. I don't know. Yeah, like I think this is too bright for what I had in my head. But it works, it stands out, which is helpful for compositions and all that kind of thing. Yes, so in some ways I feel like this is a good like draft for perhaps something better, you know, to launch, to go from these and then do some more kind of like polished pieces, and I don't know, I think I'm probably not the only person who imagines that when I paint something I'm gonna get it right first time, and then I feel a bit discouraged when I don't get it right first time, and actually even though that's taken hours, you need to remember that actually it's gonna, like a final finished piece of art, especially kind of you know, if you're making art all the time, you're kind of always like literally all day every day, then perhaps your sort of initial pieces are a little better. But yeah, I think I just need to remember that you don't just do something on the first go, and actually you have to do something and then assess it and think, oh no, actually I would have preferred a more yellow bird, and oh maybe these colours aren't the best, or maybe I don't know, the watercolour palette I have isn't really giving me the colours I want, so maybe I need to try something different and all that kind of thing. So I'm considering this as a really good draft, or like process, part of a process, rather than like a finished, oh this one's really tricky, a finished piece that I might, you know, put in my portfolio. It's more of like a sketchbook sort of level piece, rather than a portfolio piece. This scene, I would love to try and make it kind of more warm and cozy, but that just wasn't really happening. But now that I'm talking about it, I'm wondering if I can just add a little bit of yellow, kind of just a bit of extra warmth on his face. And these watercolour pencils, I think, seem to do the best job at sitting over the other pencils, the paint, compared to like the other pencils I have. Just, it's really hard to get them to really make much impact over the top. But yeah, I think getting better at colour so that I can do all of these things with the paint. Knowing where you want to improve, surely that's the first step to improving. So my memory card got full, so I'm just wanted to wrap up by showing the finished little booklet. And there we have it. So thank you for watching, especially if you've made it all the way to the end. It's been a long video and a couple of weeks process making this, so I'll see you soon.